And good night wherever you may be watching this transmission. It's morning coffee with Mike, folks. I'm in the office or my little room here today, and I want to throw up a morning coffee with Mike and kind of make it a little bit more professional today, and kind of show you guys some of the articles on what's happening, where it's happening, and I hope everyone's had a really good weekend and kind of a bit of a celebration here today at the house. So I'm gonna probably close my shop early and spend some time with the family. So hope everybody's doing well. It is, what's the date today? Today is Tuesday, August 15th. It is 9:19 Pacific time. I am just going through all the streaming platforms to make sure we are streaming and we are up and ready. And it looks like, yeah, we are streaming everywhere. Okay, good. Good. Morning Coffee with Mike, guys, originated in... I think we started doing it in 2016 when we wanted to do more short videos instead of having to do full-blown 2-3 hour live streams and just driving around, trying to figure things out, where it's going, how it's affecting you, where it's affecting you. All right, well, it's the YouTube chat that's blowing up right now. So we got Dwayne in the house, we got CJ in the house, we got Sheridan Forbes in the house, Larry Raymond, Etienne de la Croix, Stephanie, everybody's joining us. Lou saying, if you don't like Canada, leave. I already tried. I already went to live in Florida for years and got a company to sponsor me. We did a corporation. We did all the paperwork. We did everything. I had to make sure I wasn't stealing an American's job. I had to make sure everything was by the book. And $5,000 later, and with lawyers and stuff, I went to the final interview and they just declined me. They said that my application was strong, but to go back in 5 years. So I've already tried to leave Canada, Lou. Multiple. There's a video up in an in-depth description what has happened with my trying to get out of Canada, again, multiple times. And unfortunately, you just, as a Canadian, like if you're a Canadian and you just can't go to America. You just can't go pick up and leave and go buy a house there for 90 grand. You can't do that. They make it almost impossible for Canadians to get into America. That's when I went and I applied and did everything by the book. So, hey, Pamela, how's it going? All right, let's go over to the, okay, Odyssey is running. Everything's running this morning. Hope everybody is having a fantastic morning. And, oh, hey, guys, I get a lot of people messaging me for Mike in the Night. If you guys want, we are on Rumble. If you guys want to come on Rumble. There it is right there on Rumble. Mike in the Night, last episode, not to confuse anyone, there's a few replays here. It's 517 SOS, Canada's sinking fast. They are murdering us, and that they are doing up here. And obviously, as governments start to lose grip, and the smart government, well, I wouldn't say they were smart governments, but the governments that... the governments, unfortunately... have been losing grip for a long time now. And unfortunately, they're punishing us for it now. And it's going to get worse before it gets any better. And let's move on. Someone's saying, go to Portugal. You're from there. I am a Portuguese citizen. But it's very hard to persuade... Like, my mom is a boomer, right? So it's really hard to persuade a boomer that left, because we were sanctioned to death in Portugal. And unfortunately, we were sanctioned to death in Portugal for having a gold-backed currency, things like that. So we were being sanctioned to death by the West. So we had to leave, so we came to Canada. So it's very hard, because my mom came at a time where we could pay our house off in 3 years and all that stuff, and it's very hard to move my mom. It's really hard to move my wife, who came from the Philippines, right? She has the sidewalk and fire hydrant syndrome, I call that. Oh my God, there's a sidewalk and there's a fire hydrant. I made it in life. So it's very hard to persuade people to who live a comfortable life to try and like persuade them that things are not going right and we need to get out of here. But I'll go down with like a sinking ship and just do what I can, right? So we got Marquisadre from Sagres, Portugal. We got I Just Don't See It, gas under $5. It is what it is. Pamela Page, Joe Rogan. Aldo mentioned Canada and what's going on. Good. See, that's what we need. We need bigger eyes to talk about what's happening with our crazy dictatorship up here. We need. They're going to start blanketing us now. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to go and black out. Now that they've blacked out Facebook and Instagram, they're going to go ahead and start blacking out. YouTube, and they're going to roll over into Rumble, Odyssey. So Lou says, I appreciate living in Canada as an immigrant. No country perfect, my man. Well, that's the perspective that you have, and you may have followed a different path, or like you may have, made the right choices, or made the right decisions, or met the right people, or got the right jobs, or get the right. I'm more seeing it as my children being oppressed, right? So you think Mike would be able to say my name correctly? There are Portuguese priests with the same name. Intene de la Cruz. Intene de la Cruz. I don't know. I can't even read, man. I'm an alphabet, guys. I don't know if you guys realize that I'm an alphabet, right? Someone saying sorry, Mike, for what? What are you sorry for, Dwayne? Be sorry for nothing, man. There's nothing to be sorry about. All right, so there it is. There's Mike in the Night there on Rumble and Odyssey. If you guys want to join us, you're more than welcome to be part of the channel. Call in and give us your, give us your intake on things. Hundreds of French protesters as young as 12 awaiting trial. So remember this piece of garbage? Yeah, this is the piece of garbage that's actually spearheading. That is actually spearheading the censorship of social media around the world, right? Why is this piece of garbage doing this? In his first TV interview since the unrest, the French President Emmanuel Macron condemned what he called indescribable violence of clashes on the streets, stressing that France needs to return authority at entry levels. So, which protest are they talking about? What are they talking about? This. What is that? That's the 2019 protest. What 2019? What are you talking about, Mike? There's Macron out. In 2019, the French were protesting 70 weeks, 68, 70, 78 weeks straight. No confidence in government. That's 2019, folks. That's before they had to pull the trigger on the pandemic. And we told you they were going to do this. We told you they were going to pull the trigger on the pandemic. Yes, we did. Actually, 7 times now. People are sending me links. Thank you for sending me links to previous videos. Over almost 5,000 videos we made. Well, we lost a bunch, got deleted off YouTube. But still. So there it is. There's 2019. So this piece of garbage got voted in back in 2017, I think. And then nobody wanted him. And then he just got re-elected again. So there it is right there. And this is the guy that's going to want to censor your internet because nobody likes him. Imagine, hey guys, I'm going to shut you guys all down. You know why? Because I don't like you guys. And you guys are telling the truth about me. Imagine that. Wow. So, there it is right there. Ministry of Truth. Owen Thompson. This is from our friends over at Reclaim the Net. Ministry of Truth, and we've been very vocal about this too. Owen Thompson, Scottish Member of Parliament, calls for a UK truth czar that cracks down on social media platforms. Again, this is the formulation here. Okay, this is how it's going to come down. Canada's already got Facebook and Twitter, and Facebook and Instagram. They're going to work towards black or blacking us out on all those platforms, because if Canada goes dark, it becomes a win-win. Now, I was having a conversation with Supreme Cannon yesterday, and I was talking to him about how when you're in Cuba, because I've been to Cuba on vacation, when you're in Cuba, it's a complete blackout. You have no idea what the hell's going on around the world. You have no idea who's tricking or treating. But when you're out of Cuba and you look in, you don't see anything happening in Cuba either. So Cuba created this dystopian media thing, and I've been there, I think, 2 times to Cuba. And in both times, you had a really tough time finding anything media-wise or anything that's trying to find out what's happening outside the world, right? So there it is right there. So Truth Czar cracks down on media platforms. Again, the disinformation czars, as if the attempt in the U.S. to establish such a thing in the shape of the failed disinformation governance board has taught them nothing. So remember the governance board that they set up in the United States, funded by taxpayers? So where to go here? This apparent doom suppressor, to borrow from the alarmist vernacular, believes that things will run riot unless there is enforcement, and he seems to have thought the whole thing through, and at least the superficial level, i.e., how to present it to the public. So how are they going to sell it? How are they going to sell down? So it's a lot of these world issues that are basically connecting the dots, and it's leaving people in peril. And as people connect more dots, they'll figure out. And that's why we've been connecting the dots across the Commonwealth since 2012, 2014 on trends in the housing market. We've been connecting the dots from Australia to New Zealand to the UK to the blue states of America to, even once in a while we'll talk about South Africa, Canada, and we would kind of try to figure out who is doing what first, who is doing what second, where is happening this, where is happening there, and trying to figure out what is coming our way, right? So remember, Proterra, the electric bus company shielded by Biden, it just filed for bankruptcy. So electric, I'm not a believer in electric anything because we are 20, 30 years behind from perfecting it. And lithium ion is one of the dirtiest mineable resources on Earth. And in a Burlingame, California-based electric vehicle EV and bus company called Proterra failed for bankruptcy last week despite having previously been pushed by fake President Joe Biden and his regime. So are we even allowed to say that these elections were rigged? I don't even know anymore what we're allowed to say anymore on what platforms and what we're supposed to say and how to say. It's just never ending. And more restaurants, bars stock up on fentanyl, opioid overdose, reversal drugs as death soar. So restaurants and bars. So there's the Narcan spray and fentanyl opioid overdose. And a lot of this opioid, they're blaming Mexico for it, but it's actually coming from Chinese factories in the Zhuhai, or one of the provinces there. We've already covered it multiple times with a video of Canadian mainstream media news showing the factories in China producing it and then sending it and then buying real estate, leaving the real estate empty and creating these artificial shortages. As real estate keeps going up, real estate owners become wealthy overnight, and homeowners become wealthy overnight, and people on the sidelines become more and more impoverished, right? That's what happens when you build an economy off of real estate and you disenfranchise your own middle class from getting in. So there it is. An increasing number of restaurants and bars across the country are keeping a stock of naloxone, an antidote to fentanyl and opioid overdoses, according to the New York Times. So the New York Times is reporting it. Local officials and nonprofit organizations are ramping up efforts to more bars and restaurants as overdoses become all too common in public spaces, according to the New York Times. Between February 2022 and February 2023, There were more than 105,000 reported drug overdoses in the U.S., according to the provisional data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. So there it is, folks, and that's what's happening. So they're stocking up on this nasal spray, and they're using them in nightclubs, restaurants, bars, and hospitality venues, and community spaces, because more and more people are overdosing in public spaces. And what's scary is, bus drivers, train drivers, pilots, people that are in the public sector making a six-figure income, doing menial jobs, literally making a six-figure income. You can't make this stuff up. What if they overdose? What if there's a lifeguard at the pool watching my kids? My kids went swimming, okay? And what if one of them pass out from an over and there's nobody watching the kids in the pool? Like, this is very, I don't know, like, I don't know, it's very scary times we're living in. And the UN Insider reveals Biden will declare climate change emergencies, ration meat, gas, and electricity. So this piece of garbage is back at it again, crapping his pants in the White House. Has no idea where he is at night. Service agents have to walk him to his room. It's. We were reporting this 2-3 years ago. But anyways, yeah. So Joe Biden is about to sign an executive order that will declare climate emergency, granting the executive sweeping new powers to enforce rations, lockdowns, and other tyrannical measures in order to save the planet from global warming, according to the United Nations. And we've been debunking a lot of this stuff, especially with the climate emergency and heat waves in New York, which weren't happening. And the climate emergency and heat waves in parts of, where was it? Upstate New York, too. They're really trying to really pick apart certain areas to, maybe because of higher population densities. I'm not sure why. Certain areas. Okay, we got the comments rolling. Throttle Cracker, the Throttle Cracker is saying, "Are you armed? You all had better be." Throttle Cracker saying we can't and we shouldn't save everyone, but it's good to warn everyone. I like to warn everyone on my perspective, even though who cares about what I think. But at least there's somebody saying it somewhere. Someone, hey, yeah, that nut bar in Canada. That Alphabet, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The Alphabet up in Canada was telling people this back in 2012. So they're gonna keep pushing this agenda. When all else fails, like we said, like we've been saying so long on the channel, when all else fails, when a pandemic, fires, when all else fails and the distraction fails, revert back to climate change. So we got to create a flow chart pointing everything back to climate change. When everything they throw at us fails, climate change is the culprit, right? So I got somebody commenting here on another platform asking about the red lasers or red laser lights I saw in the back of my house yesterday. Yeah, guys, I don't know. It's really weird what I saw yesterday. It was a short video. It was 2 minutes. I don't know if I'm severely delusional, so let me, sorry guys, I'm just going to bring this up here real quick, about what I was talking about yesterday, and I'm going to tie it to an article that was published after I saw the lights, and maybe there may be some sort of a connection with it. There may be, I don't know. Here, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So let me go to my community section here. Okay, so this is from yesterday, this video here. Well, I just want to report on something. So look at the smoke in the background. It's very hazy. A lot of people say, I don't see smoke, Mike. Yeah, there's a lot of smoke. Believe me. Something really bizarro I saw. Very bizarro. I'm here in my backyard, and you see where them lights are flashing right there? Right there. A couple of police, it looks like police cars, and it looks like an ambulance of sorts. I was looking out at it from my window there in my bedroom side of facing the back of the house. And I noticed from coming from behind this way, like where my finger's pointing. So it's basically coming up from the heavens. Like, okay, like coming this way, behind that mountain, I noticed like almost like a red, like laser looking like beam, like something you would see in Star Wars or something bizarro. I looked, I thought I was seeing things or I'm losing my mind. And then I was going to pick up my camera and film inside the room from the window. And then after, it did it again. It was like a red, it was coming down, but look at the amount of smoke that's coming from. So I wanted to bring this up because after that, if you go into the, let me go into the community section here real quick for you guys. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So before, if you look at the timestamp of the video, I made the video, and then not even 40 minutes later, look at this. So this was about 40 minutes after I posted the video. Hamilton Hill wildfire burning alongside the connector, and that's Merritt, BC. And let me see if it opens like too bigger. There it is. And that's the connect. That's where I guess. So 3 hectare wildfire burning alongside the Okanagan connector just east of Merritt is posing no problem for motorists. So this comes up about, I don't know, 40 minutes, an hour after I make that video. So I kind of want to show you guys the connection there, and that's pretty interesting. And to be honest with you guys, like that was a really weird thing. It's almost like I saw it, but I didn't see it. It's like so perfect, and it was almost like my conscious or my was saying, I just didn't, what was that, confused for lightning? No, like what? So yeah. So one problem is that the laser theory, red lasers are not powerful. Emerald focused lasers are green, and dew are visible. You could see red laser beams from time. Okay, on the weather's radar, you could see red laser beams from time to time. I also saw an interesting picture from Maui, laser gridded bomb. You know what it could be? Because I was thinking it may have been because it was coming from the heavens down. It could have been a guided aircraft that could have been pointing down to the ground to show workers something. Like I don't know. Like I don't know what I was seeing. Like to be honest with you, and so there it is. There's the article that ties in 40 minutes or an hour after I posted the video showing you guys what happened. And I don't know. It's just bizarre. I'm not into the whole space thing. I'm not going to get into that, but you know what, you guys know what I mean, right? Okay, Sweden Psychological Defense Agency is using Cold War strategies to combat disinformation. So Sweden is now going to combat disinformation. So disinformation is this right here. You guys are watching disinformation right here, right now, because I'm not licensed and I'm an alphabet. So you guys have to kind of make your own opinion on what I'm saying here. Sweden is blaming Russia for the backlash it faces from the Islamic world because of incidents such as the burning copies of the Quran that have occurred in the country. Apparently, Muslims around the world and in Sweden would not be outraged by this if there weren't Russia's alleged campaign on social media to spread this information that is defined as amplifying global reaction. So you guys could go on social media and you could find all kinds of people that are destroying, desecrating, smashing, shooting Qurans, all kinds of stuff. They do it to the Bible. They do it to every religion. Like they always do stuff like this all the time. But they're actually looking again for distraction, blame game, back and forth. They do this all the time, and now this could be a trigger for them to shut down disinformation. So this happens, which has been happening for ages. But they're going to now do something about it and shut down basically people's way of communicating with each other. Okay, Fitch warns bank face downgrades, and we've been very vocal about the housing, the banking crisis here on this channel since 2012, as they have been deregulating the banking system. During the Obama administration, they did quite a few bank jobs in disenfranchising and deregulating American banks to allow banksters to commit crimes against the average Joe. And at the start of August, Fitch Ratings downgraded the U.S. government top credit rating last week. Moody's cut the credit ratings of a small, mid-sized U.S. banks. It's worse than it's nothing. We're just getting started. Facial recognition company says there's nothing to worry about. And if you go back to Mike in the Night in 2018, where Darwin, we did a whole Mike in the Night in 2018 about the whole facial recognition. I'm going to leave that for you guys so you guys can see that too. It's a very good episode because now they're talking about stuff years later that we have been worrying about and trying to warn people about. What was it? It was Darwin, right? Yeah, Darwin. Let's see if they took the video down. They've been taking down videos like crazy, folks. And then I got to go find them on Odyssey and find out. There it is. Darwin Takeover, guys. This is the episode right here. This talks about what they're talking about here today. Darwin Takeover with social credit score and 5G digital ID, digital currency, thought control 4 years ago. And we've reported on smart cities and plans in 15-minute cities here. And it was a really good episode because we were really tracking this down. We had a really good couple of callers that that was working to get this show done properly and making sense. And
in Russia, you had listening devices. You'd have 2 or 3 guys talking in a room, and then one of them would get pulled aside by a plainclothes KGB officer afterwards for interrogation. That's an enormous system. It's incredible.
So there it is right there. Leave no dark corner. And that's obviously what they're moving towards us. And Germany cancels Pacific nations diplomatic tour because they can't fix the government jet. Why am I bringing this up? Well, 1, it's an embarrassment. 2 is when you get rid of the people that can't maintain the infrastructure, guess what? It's game over. It's game over. And I like how they have the German cross there. The Portuguese had this cross back in the I don't know, 1300s. And the Germans took it and said, that's German now, in the 1880s or something. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. So all I wanted to say is when you get rid of your European expansion in Europe, and you don't hire people that qualify for the jobs because you need to give equal hiring opportunities, then we got ourselves a problem here. You can't even fix your own damn jets. I could see a bigger channel taking this and running with this and taking our points of views on this. Guys, I want to thank everybody. I really, really want to thank everyone that are sending me links from these huge broadcasters that are actually referencing a lot of the stuff we're talking about and taking our take on it. And it almost shows that this little alphabet here is actually like a little bit of a quarterback here, getting and pushing things out and kind of angles and points of views, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have some people on this channel watching my back. Rigor Mortis, what's up, buddy? Pamela Page is tired. What's wrong, Pam? And there's nobody chatting on Odyssey. Heck, I don't think there's anyone watching me on Odyssey. Yeah, I got 4 people watching. Okay, there's no comments, though. And over on Rumble, there's no comments on Rumble. And yeah, guys, we're a little underground platform based out of Merritt, British Columbia, Canada. And I've been trying to do my best over the last decade to try and make sense of, or longer, of what's going on. All right, let's keep going here. Many millions believe violence justified to keep Trump from presidency. So where I live here in Canada, it's a very interesting little town I live in. And the perspective from most people is that I've spoken to, and I'm talking about educated, like teachers in schools, people in government getting a government paycheck, a lot of them say basically that, yes, they have to fix these elections to justify not to get racists in office, like here in Canada. And here in the town I live in, like a lot of people, when they speak to me, they're more of that whole Hillary Clinton the election was stolen from Hillary Clinton by Donald Trump. Like that kind of attitude where Jesus never existed and Muhammad preached peace. Like stuff like Barack Hussein Obama is one of the best standing American presidents in history. Like that's the town I live in, right? A lot of the people have that perspective that Russia is invading Ukraine for no reason and Russia's being greedy. No, there's been a buildup on the Russian border since like 93, 94, right? And that's something that I like to, discuss and talk. But unfortunately, it's so very one-streeted where I'm at, and I'm kind of like a black sheep here in town. But nobody even knows I'm on social media, right? So here in the town, there's maybe 3-4 people, which is a blessing, right? So, and let's move on to here. How smart cities will lock up humanity inside open air concentration camps. Again, that goes back to Mike in the Night digital air prison that we did, digital currency, digital air prison. And we did a few 15-minute cities on the. Let me see if they were. I don't even know if they were taken down. I have no idea what's any more on this channel. Like I keep getting every other day. I get a video taken down for medical misinformation from 2015, 2016. Always get that on a regular basis. I don't know if let me see if it's even up. Hold on, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. If it's even up. So if it's not up, nobody freak out on me, please. Because it's kind of important to see that we have been. Let's see, 15 minutes. I got some. Oh, okay. Here we go. Stack them up, condense more people. Okay, yeah, we got something here. Guys. This is only a few months ago that am I in a 15-minute city, Merritt, BC, 15-minute neighborhoods, connectivity by design neighborhoods, people receiving warnings in the mail. Here we go. Stack them up. Condense more people. 15-minute cities coming soon. That was 6 years ago. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. No, I don't see anything more for 15-minute cities. Like this is a solution video I made that no one saw. Start to study home births. Like we're going to find solutions, and I've been really trying. I make solution videos, but Nobody ever takes them seriously. All right, where were we? Okay, we were there. We passed that. Germany purchases dozens of decommissioned Leopard 1 tanks for Ukraine. German defense contractor has bought 49 second-hand Leopard 1 tanks from Belgium arms dealer for use in Ukraine, a company spokesperson said last week. So I wonder how much money was laundered through that, and then money went back to bank accounts. That's what's happening, folks. It's all money laundering. A spokesman for the German government said the tank would be part of a military aid package announced by the defense minister Oskar P. at last month's NATO summit in Lithuania. So, but ultimately refused to pay the 500,000 euros per tank that was being asked for. So obviously they're going to get into debates and scuffles and problems when taking sides here. Lukashenko wants Belarus to make up with Poland and blame U.S. for meddling for rising tension on border. So where is this? Out of Belarus. Now Belarus is being seen as the enemy as Poland is ramping up arms. We covered that on the last Mike in the Night. And Belarusian ruler Alexander Lukashenko has reacted to the stationing of 10,000 Polish troops on the border with Belarus by blaming the America for damaging Polish border Belarusian relations, and has said he wants to repair his country's relationship with Poland. So you're seeing it here. These people don't want to go to war. And that's why I've never taken sides on these wars. This whole back and forth war thing, it's like, give me a break. Come on, really? And There it is. New York's right to shelter law now has Mayor Adams saying, go away. And 90,000 migrants have come to New York City. There is no guarantee we'll be able to provide shelter and services to new arrivals. Housing in New York City is very expensive. So that's what happens when you get these sanctuary cities. More than 81,000 migrants have come to New York from the southern border since last spring. On May 13, Mayor Eric Adams deemed the Roosevelt on Arrival Center for Migrants. Most of its occupants are families, but it functions mainly as an intake center for new arrivals. It delivers a range of legal, medical, and recommendation services, as well as placement, if needed, in shelter or humanitarian relief center, according to a city press release. So, and what were we saying on the channel here? I even brought it up for you guys. Massive exodus of young families leave. Escape New York now. You will regret it by 2024. We made the video 2 years, almost 3 years ago. And escape expensive Toronto now. And Vancouver, it will be a wasteland by 2023. That was 3 years ago. Escaped from the GTA. Don't buy anything. It's a trap. It's going to be underwater 4 years ago. 2 in 5 indebted Canadians don't ever expect to escape debt 3 years ago. What else do we got? We got all kinds of stuff. Blue state exodus gains momentum. So Canadians fleeing Ontario, Canada in frantic pace. Ontario now is severely unaffordable. So it's been a very interesting time being here with you guys, to be honest with you. Very interesting time to be collaborating with all of you. Political earthquake. Libertarian candidate Javier Milei surges ahead of in Argentine elections. Ladies and gentlemen watching this, say hello to the Donald Trump of Argentina. With 62.1% of the voting tables counted, Milei has secured an impressive 32.57% of the votes, defying the pre-election polls and creating shockwaves across the political platform. They're going to fix these elections just like they did in Brazil to make sure this guy doesn't win. Like Lula in Brazil, a criminal that's been arrested multiple times, is now president of Brazil. And we told you, I don't want to bring the video up 4 months before they went to the polls in Brazil, that it's all fixed. Because they were sending out these notifications to people in Brazil, and we were reading them in Portuguese on the channel to you guys to show you guys how it was coming down. And how people don't worry about voting digitally. It's safe. We have your vote secured. Yeah. We got ScentQuest in the house. We got Lou in the house. We got Sheridan Forbes in the house. We got Crosshatch in the house. We got Dwayne in the house. We got T. Lawton in the house. Yeah, Scotland is rigged. UK rigged. Yeah. So with 62.1%, there it is, voting tables counted. He's an impressive 32.57% of the votes. And of course, you know who's going to win? This guy right here. This guy right here, Sergio Massa, is going to win. Not because people are going to vote for him, because they're going to rig the election for him. Right here. This guy's going to win the next Argentinian election. Guys, timestamp this for me, 39:05, so you guys can see, even though the guy that everyone wants to win won't win, because none of this is real. Yep, rigor mortis is right. If voting matters, they wouldn't let us do it. So. Let's keep going here. Gotta wet my beak there for a second. China will stop publishing data on youth unemployment as crisis. This has got to be an Australian article. Yep, it's an Australian article. The amount of advertising and it's just youth unemployment and crisis hits a tipping point. And Ukrainian police launch new raid on Christian monastery and priests. Officers broke into at least one building in iconic Kiev. I can't read that. Local church figures have said. Ukrainian police officers have stormed Kiev following court ruling that authorized the forcible evictions of monks from the historic monastery at the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. Has said the religious body is facing an unprecedented crackdown by the authorities in Kiev, who accuse it to ties to Russia. So they're obviously, remember one of those letters, Paul, what was it? The letter of Paul to who? Who was it? Paul wrote a letter. A group, I don't know if it was the Ephesians or who they were. They're saying, we are now done working. We are waiting for the return of Jesus. We are ready for his arrival. We were good to go. And Paul writes back, he who does not work does not get fed. Basically the return of Christ, or the return, will happen when an evil man tries to take the place of God. And basically what I'm trying to say here and tie together with this is that governments don't want God. They prefer other things like Buddha or Allah or everything else, but they don't want God. And God obviously takes the place of governments. I'm a true believer, and I'm not going to get into that because we're going to go down a deep rabbit hole, and it gets really deep. But no, I know where I'm going. I know why I'm here, and I'm perfectly comfortable going to the next side because I already know what's in store. So. Taliban celebrates 2 years since Biden's Afghanistan debacle, death to the Westerners. So this used to be the Mujahideen, if you guys remember. The Mujahideen was armed by Americans during the 1980-81 invasion of Russia into Afghanistan. And Americans were arming the Mujahideen, and then the Mujahideen became the Al-Qaeda, then Al-Qaeda became the Taliban. I'm not sure where it goes from there. It morphs into different boogeymans. And if you guys remember that, so there it is right there. And move on. Soros to shut down most EU projects as routers. The liberal financier will shift his attention to other parts of the world, according to an internal email. George Soros' Open Society Foundation's NGO will shut down much of its EU-based operations and fund liberal causes elsewhere. Reuters reported on Tuesday, citing an internal email. While it remains unclear where Soros will direct his efforts, the aging billionaire has agitated for regime change in China in recent years. So he is here, and he's been backing a lot of these BLM, all these movements and stuff, obviously, that's going to go against the status quo or create the status quo. Sorry, for us to have to fight against it. It's been an ongoing fight, guys. And Maui wildfires, death toll reaches 99 as governor warns total could be double. We had Dr. Mysterio on the show on the previous Mike in the Night. If you guys want to watch that, Mike in the Night. Here, I'm going to give you guys a link in the YouTube, seeing we have so many people watching here on YouTube. There's the Mike in the Night. It just surpassed 4,200 views on a platform that we have, I don't know, we've been stuck at 1,700 or 1,800 subscribers for 2 years now. Or a year and a half. There's the, I'm going to give this to you guys if you guys want to kind of check that out. If you guys want to check out that episode 517 of Mike in the Night, I would really appreciate your support on there. Okay, where were we? Back in 1991, the U.S. tried to prevent the USSR from collapsing. Why did the Washington want its Cold War rival to survive? It's very simple, folks. They just wanted to keep a Cold War going and arms races going on until the year 2500. And if they kept this going, we'll be on a race to Mars. If they actually kept this thing going, we'd be on a race. We'll be on a race, not the moon race, but they'll be fabricating or figuring out a way to make it look like we are trying to get to Mars. We'd be on a Mars race right now. If it wasn't if they didn't stop that. So yeah, it's really good to be with you people today. I really love the whole collaboration here in the comments, and I really care for you. Like, I really care for you guys. I really. Your criticism, constructive, negative, it's all good. It's all good, And I was, people were telling me from earlier videos I was making back in I don't know, 2006, 7, sorry, 2012, 13, 14, 15, some of the older videos I was making, a lot of people were feeling for me, saying, man, there's a lot of people making fun of you in the comments, Mike. I kind of really feel for you. I'm like, don't feel for me. Because if these people weren't criticizing my weight, for example, a lot of people called me a fat ass, a lardo, and stuff like that. And if it wasn't for those people criticizing me all these years, guess what? I'd be a fat ass today, or a lardo, whatever you want to call me. And, you know, it's important that we are open to criticism, right? I was criticized. I was called greedy the other day on Mike in the Night because I was multi-streaming on multi-platforms. But I try to explain to people how multi-streaming doesn't actually slow down my internet. It actually just takes the one transmission, and then from their end, they actually restream it on their end for me, right? So just trying to correct people and trying to explain to them what is going down, how it's going down, and so now I kind of want to direct something on the channel here, guys. Now, all our 2012, now we could click on oldest videos. We couldn't click on oldest videos before. All our 2012 videos are gone. And I don't know, I was slightly emotional about that. They've been gone for a while now. Now, if you see this from 9 years ago, when I sold my Corvette and I bought the Chrysler 300 for my family, a family car, because we couldn't use this anymore. Did you know I was about at 800, maybe 900 videos at this point, right here? Now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I don't know why. And then there's nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. And then boom, we get something 8 years ago. Retail apocalypse, closures ahead as Canadian middle class is disappearing, food expensive. And then food prices out of control. At this rate, people can't afford to buy food by 2020, buying food on credit cards. So 8 years ago, I was already witnessing people buying food on credit cards, right? Food going up so fast, middle class in trouble, wages not keeping up with inflation as oil drops. And this was a good one from 7 years ago. Price of oil drop, but food prices go up. They can't hide inflation anymore. You notice how the videos they left up are food-related videos? My gold and silver videos, my buy and store food. Well, the buy and store food videos are gone. But why are these videos staying up? They're all food videos for some reason. Look, price of oil drop, but food goes up. The great Canadian peso ahead. They are hijacking our currency. Buy gold and silver and now. So we were talking about the currency being under attack. Prices have surpassed my rent. But it's food stuff. Vancouver rental prices will lead to the death of the big city. Empty units, what does this say? Death of the big city, empty units, and food prices going up. So it says food in it. That's crazy. Here's a video I made. Why I rent, not own, $2.1 million 4-bedroom townhome, maintenance fees, property taxes. There's no food in that one. Amero. New Amero dollar to be a reality in North America, looking to implement digital token by 2021. But where's the videos in between, like the real videos in between? Like here it is. Canadian is falling to money laundering. Canadians need to compete with offshore money laundering. CCP $1.1 million starter family home. Wake up Canada. Here it is. These videos. Canada is under attack. The great Canadian takeover. CCP money laundering. Rest in peace, middle class. So let's see if we're
topic here in the Northwest. Poor quality of living, and over expensive stuff that is beyond anything you could ever imagine. So, housing bubble, would it burst here in Vancouver? No, it can't. Even Burnaby, Richmond, it will never burst because there's always people overseas that are going to come in from China, basically, and buy up the properties the second they're available for sale. because a lot of the money that is being made in China, a percentage of it is illegally made. So they can invest it in China. So they come to Canada and use the housing market as a safe haven. The housing market and gold market is a few markets that are safe havens, right? The housing markets are safe because you're not carrying around bricks of gold everywhere you go, or having them in safes where it's a risk to get you could get killed over having gold, right? Bars of gold. And so just invest in the houses. So that's what a lot of foreigners have been doing. They've been bringing in a lot of money, dirty money, money laundering, whatever it is, or illegally made money, and just investing it here in Vancouver. And what does that happen? Well, what's going to happen is just, what happens if the BC people or the Canadians start losing their jobs, they can't pay their mortgages? Who cares? They leave, and then more foreigners come in and buy up the properties. That's just how it is.
There it is right there, folks. And that was me saying that. When was this? On April 11, 2016. April 11, 2016. It's a spring of spring of 2016 in Vancouver. I just wish some of my older stuff is still in existence. Yeah, things aren't shaping up well, guys. I'm just concerned. I'm very concerned. And I've been very concerned and trying to be as vocal as humanly possible. Guys, I'll give you the link there for the last 517 Mic of the Night. There's a little bit disruption in the video, so there it is, 517 of Mic of the Night. If you guys want to watch it. 518 this Saturday, we're going to have open mic. I want to see if I could get first-time callers on the show. I really want to get first-time callers. I really want to hear from people for the first time. I would really enjoy that very much, to hear for you. Very interesting. Oh, wow, we're getting comments. Oh, we're getting comments on Facebook. I really don't have... I have followers on Facebook, but... Sorry, guys, I'm not ignoring you guys on Facebook here. I just don't get comments on Facebook, though. I mean, I just don't have anyone seeing my stuff on Facebook. And lately, my stuff on Facebook has been kind of blowing up. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's this new law they're putting in. So if you're on Facebook, go ahead and share this transmission. And I'm going to put a comment here. If you guys want to follow us on Rumble here. If you want to follow our last Rumble episode here. There, and you could kind of actually hear uncensored. Because what we're talking here is very uncensored on Rumble and Odyssey for years. We've cut back on the hate. Like the swearing, we've cut back on 80-90% of the swearing on there. It's an 18-plus show. So if you're watching this, it is an 18-plus show. So I ask you guys, out of respect, not to watch Mic in the Night. And also here, I'm going to give you guys one more thing here now that I'm seeing all these people on Facebook watching me. You could go to realmikemartins.com. And then when you go to the website, I'll show you where to find it. Because people keep asking for older episodes. Because a lot of people like to binge watch stuff while they're at work. Especially if they're working in something. So you can add me on Skype here if you want to join us on Mic in the Night. And then you go here. There's the episodes previously on Mic in the Night. Remember, it's 18 plus, folks. And then you could go here, and then you go to Archives and NSFW Mic in the Night right there. And this goes into all the episodes that we made for you guys. And I'm going back to episode 1 of Mic in the Night from 2016. And I'm working it back. And I don't think I could even read some of these headlines on some of these platforms. So I got to be really, really... look, France burns with no confidence in government. There have been 1,884 athlete cardiac arrests. EU is on the brink of bankruptcy. Let's keep going back here. What do we got here? Let's keep going back, man. See how far we've gone. There's episode 500. We were under attack in that episode, so the stream went down a couple of times. Whew, okay, let's keep going here. 495. The good stuff goes back here. Like, you want the good stuff, you want to go way back here on Mic in the Night. You want to go back here, right here. Mic in the Night, 481. Blank is ineffective and don't block transmission, says Bill Gates after selling his shares in Bionet for a massive profit. And basically, he's in Brussels on a speaking tour, Bill Gates, telling people, oh, yeah, it was this and that, after he sold his stocks in Bionet. And 480 is really good. And if you keep going back to episodes of Mic in the Night, I just keep going back, you'll start to see Our prediction shows are really good, so I'm going to try and get all our prediction shows up. 469 people are dying on live TV. And yeah, I think there was some really good ones back here too in the 460s. We haven't got Porno Pete on in a while, guys. We haven't had Porno Pete on Mike in the Night in a while. People keep asking for him. Another person that people are asking for is Ricky Spanish. So I'm going to try to get Ricky Spanish on the show. It's been a while since we've had him. Wake up, caution. They want to force you to take a booster every 90 days. That was Mike in the Night, September 2022. And if you keep going back. So if you're working long hours, and look, we got episodes going back to 2018, Mike in the Night, Disappearing Middle Class, California Mass Exodus, Where Do I Move for a Better Life, The End of Middle Class, Why Prosperity is Falling in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. That was September 2018. And Mike in the Night 2018. Mike in the Night, my 2019 economic predictions. 2018 will be the blame game, the summer of blame game, banks rising rates, more rate hikes to hedge inflation, housing set to drop as interest rates go up. So that was back in September 16, 2018. So we've been trying our best here for many years, and I want to thank everyone on Facebook that are watching us, because on Facebook, I don't know why people are watching us on Facebook, because no one ever watches. I'm just shocked, and I love you guys on Facebook. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining us. And yeah, okay, guys. I think I've talked enough here. We went over some important international headlines that are these moving chess pieces that we are trying to make sense of here on Morning Coffee with Mike. And I'll probably see you guys in a couple of days. And don't forget, Saturday night, Mike in the Night, 7 p.m. Pacific time on multiple platforms. And thanks for being here, guys. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.